afternoon, everyone. Judge Lankard from Tom Green County, thank y'all for joining us. We're holding this meeting for major updates that we've seen in the last 24 hours. We have heard, and many of you have heard the update, that we have finally got the IA designation under President Trump's order for major disaster declaration. This is huge. This is everything that we've been working towards with our volunteer efforts, going around all the individuals, filling out the appropriate paperwork on the ISTAT forms. This is what we've been pushing for. The volunteer efforts made a huge impact. The first couple of days we had resting around 80 to 85 entries. After the volunteers were trained and out into the communities, those efforts boosted those numbers over 1,500 entries. This is where the data came and formulated to where we were able to present with a very special thank you to Congressman August Pfluger's office for this effort to present this to FEMA and President Trump. This is where Mayor Tom Thompson and I received the phone calls last night from August Pfluger himself, letting us know that we had been added along with a couple other counties to the IA designation. So this is what we've been waiting for. And now the questions are, what next? Before I go to the what next, I want to go into the other thank yous that we owe to. First of all, President Trump, thank you for adding us to the IA designation. We're now working for the PA designation, and what that means is individual and public assistance. Congressman August Pfluger's office, we thank them already, but I will thank them again. Himself and his staff, they've worked tirelessly to gather this information on the federal level, because now what we're trying to do is work for the federal funds. Representative Darby, Senator Perry, thank you for reaching out and all of the efforts as well, getting the information that we need. Governor Abbott for including Tom Green County in the statewide declaration. Senator Cruz, Senator Cornyn, and our Council of Governments here in Concho Valley. All of these individuals and governmental agencies have worked their tails off over the last week. We are 1 week out. It is kind of crazy to think that we're standing here a week later after all of the disastrous floods that we've seen in Concho Valley and the hill country of the state of Texas. I'm going to go into a little bit of the county remarks before I go into the what's next. We're finding out now with individuals in specific areas, they're reaching out saying, I haven't seen anybody. And we're finding out these roads that have been impacted that we did not know were impacted initially. Do not hesitate, if you were out in the outlying county, do not hesitate to reach out to us to inform us that you were affected by these floods. We will update the map. That way individuals and resources can reach out to you to make sure that you are getting the assistance needed. This is including Grape Creek, Water Valley, Carlsbad, Quail Valley, the city of Miles, the portion of Tom Green County that's below there, down by the river. If there's anywhere else that's out there, please reach out to us and let us know that you were affected. Now going into the what's next. Now that we've had the federal designation, a lot of people are wondering, what's coming? Is FEMA coming? First of all, continue to fill out your ISTAT forms. This is only going to help us in the long run. Jose Rivera, which is our emergency management coordinator, is going to address the actual what's next, going into how to fill out the paperwork, where to go, and what if you need assistance doing that, or to reach out. If you are affected, do not hesitate to reach out to 211 for information. They're going off of a mapping system right now, and from that initial mapping that we had designated. If your street was affected and it's not on that map, it can be added to it. So we want to make sure that we see the initial impact and the outlying areas that we did not know about, make sure that we formulate the entire map in its entirety. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Mayor Tom Thompson. One more note, sorry. Our DRC, currently at Paul Ann Baptist Church, is going to be moved after today at 6 p.m. to the Concho Valley Transit Building. down off of the corner of Loop 306 and Chadburn. If you were a survivor of that, of the flood, you can reach out and gain resources at that place. Individuals that are still looking at monetary donations, San-Angelo Area Foundation, they're still being the fiduciary agent for the monetary donations coming in. We owe a tremendous thanks for them for taking on that task. So, Mayor Thompson, on you.
Once again, I want to thank everybody being for here. We're 7 days in, all right, folks, and this is where it comes time that we address recovery. And as I said before, it's going to depend more upon our execution from these days forward. Is how people remember us and see what happened. Once again, I thank all the staff and volunteers. It's been great. We need to continue the ISTAT investment, but I want everybody to understand our job is not done. Okay, this is just really the first step. The FEMA declaration opens a door for us to move forward. It opens for potential reimbursement of funds, and that is critical to how we progress. I don't want it to be a long recovery. I don't want to see this thing take months. I would love for it to be done in 60 days. I'd love for it to be done in 4 weeks. We are getting a lot of overflow coming out of Kerrville and that area of volunteers and supplies. At this point, logistically, it's become difficult to manage because we don't know where we have capacity. Right now, I want to talk about what's for the citizens and what can they do, the people in need. It's time, in my opinion, you're going to see us quit patting ourselves on the back, and it's now focused on the citizens, extremely getting you back into your households, getting you shelter, getting you the needs that you have fulfilled as quick as we can. I'm going to flip this over to Jose Rivera and let Jose talk about a little bit of what we're going to see in ISTAT, PSTAT, and I think more importantly, there's a lot of people that have reached out inquiring about mucking their houses, cleaning their houses. We've got more chances of rain coming in Saturday night through Sunday. Not supposed to be large amounts, but we've seen a forecast like that before, and there's things you just can't prepare for. So with that, I want to turn it over to Jose Rivera.
Thank you, Mayor. Jose Rivera, Emergency Management Coordinator, City of San-Angelo and Montgomery County. Again, I can't repeat this enough. I want to thank all of the volunteers, nonprofit organizations, the city staff, the county staff, firefighters, police department, operations division for helping us obtain these damage assessments. In just about 2 days, we were able to obtain just about 1,600 damage assessment surveys in the city of San-Angelo and Tom Green County. It's an incredible task, and we're able to knock it out. And because of the hard work, we're able to obtain that federal declaration for individual assistance. Currently, our jurisdiction, the city and the county, are working on trying to obtain a PA declaration, a public assistance declaration, so that our city and county agencies can help recoup some of the expenses of the damages and losses that they experienced during the flood. Some of these damages include equipment utilized during rescue services and all the overtime and damage to facilities that we incurred during this flooding event. So what's next? As a FEMA declared county now, FEMA assistance is now open to all residents in the city of San-Angelo and Tom Green County. What is FEMA individual assistance? FEMA individual assistance may help the survivor be eligible for home repair, rental assistance, housing assistance, and personal property. How do you apply for FEMA individual assistance? We direct all survivors to go to damageassistance.gov to submit your individual assistance application for FEMA aid. Moving into next week, starting on Monday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., the Damage Resource Center will be moved from Pauldland to the Concho Valley Transit District Annex Building right here off North Chadburn and Loop 306 Houston Heart. So from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., we're going to have our nonprofits there. We're going to have personnel there and volunteers assisting survivors with filling out their FEMA I declaration paperwork. We We've also put a request in to FEMA to send FEMA staff to San Angelo, to send FEMA caseworkers to San Angelo to help survivors of San Angelo and Pomeroy County fill out this FEMA paperwork. It can be quite a task, but that's why we're requesting these resources now to come into our community. They will also be staged there at the Contra Valley Transit District building once they arrive. Some developing news this afternoon. Pomeroy County and the City of San Angelo received an SBA declaration. A Small Business Development Center here in Angelo State announced that local businesses and business owners are now eligible for aid through the SBA. This aid includes economic injury disaster loans and home disaster loans. We're fortunate that personnel at the ASU Small Business Development Center will be available to assist survivors of this flood and businesses of this flood at their location at 69 North Chadron. So with this IA declaration came an SB declaration. This is good news for businesses in San Angelo and Pomeroy counties and those affected by this disaster. I've thrown a lot of information at you at once. I do want to remind the citizens of San Angelo and Pomeroy County that all of this information, all of the resources, and everything we've been talking about lives at one place, and that is san-angelo.gov/July 4th. I want to thank our public information team for the City of San Angelo for assisting us in the county with making sure that we get all of this information shared to the survivors that need it. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Efren from the City of El Paso Fire Department. He's going to make a quick comment in Spanish to translate the things I discussed quickly in Spanish to the survivors here in San Angelo and Pomeroy County. Efren.
Sí, buenas tardes, mi nombre es Efren García, aquí del Departamento de Bomberos de Paso, Texas. Como dijo José, la ciudad de San Angelo ha logrado obtener la asistencia financiera de FEMA. Lo que es esto es asistencia para el hogar, asistencia para su renta o la vivienda personal. Si han afectado en eso, en cualquier, en esas categorías, la asistencia de FEMA le van a ayudar. Y pueden hacer esto. Les pedimos que la asistencia que han tomado hasta hoy, que traten de tomar todo en cuenta y reportar toda FEMA, porque la asistencia va a seguir con la que le van a dar. Si no le reportan, puede ser que no van a agarrar lo que se espera. La asistencia individual se puede encontrar en la página de san-angelo.gov el 4 de julio. Ahí es la página donde pueden encontrar la información de FEMA. También la ciudad ha podido emplazar el desastre de pequeño económico de los negocios. Lo que esto es si su negocio ha sufrido daño al edificio o económico, pueden enviar por FEMA y le pueden dar esa asistencia igual como el hogar de sus casas. Toda esa información se encuentra en la página de san-angelo.gov, pero si no pueden llenar las formas, si tienen problemas con las formas, pueden ir a la sesión de autobuses. De lunes a viernes, de 12 de la tarde a 6 de la tarde, van a estar voluntarios ahí para ayudarles a llenar las formas, porque sí es un poco difícil para llenar todas las formas y las informaciones que le piden. Entonces, de 12 a 6, lunes a viernes, van a estar en la estación de autobuses y ahí le pueden ayudar en lo que se necesita para ustedes. Gracias.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Cameron Cummings. I am the chair of the San Angelo COAD. On my normal days, when we're not dealing with disasters, I also am a director at United Way of the Contra Valley here locally. So we're going to give you a brief update about what the COAD has done over the last 7 days. I can't believe it's been 7 days, quite frankly. And then we're going to kind of give you an update on what the next couple weeks will look like, what the next month or months look like for this community and some of our individuals that have survived this flood. So first, I just want to express my appreciation to the community, to our businesses, to our nonprofits, to our volunteers who have shown just resiliency and compassion and care for these survivors. It's been incredible to be at Call In and just see what's happening and what's going on over there and seeing just the care that these individuals have been shown. At the Call So a little brief description on what our local COAD is. So COAD is the Community Organizations Active in Disaster. And so this is a group of nonprofits, businesses, government agencies, faith-based groups, and volunteer organizations that have come together to make sure that our community is prepared for something like this. When I first started researching and getting involved in this group about 2 years ago, the statement that I was always told was, it's not if, it's when. And so we see that today. We experienced that on July 4th. And so we are a group that has been preparing for this, preparing our nonprofits, preparing a plan to make sure that we are ready as a community to serve individuals that have been affected by disasters. And so that's what we are going to continue to do. That's what's been done the last 7 days. And so we are honored to be able to serve this community, to get to offer these services and to make sure that our neighbors and our individuals that have been affected by this flood are taken care of, and that we are making sure we are going to have a better community after this. And so I'm going to let a couple of my executive committee members talk a little bit about updates of some of our fiduciary department, I guess, and then some of what has been going on the last 7 days. So I'm going to have Mike Burnett, who is my vice chair at the COAD, talk a little bit.
Perfect, Mike.
It's all the pirate in me. Sorry, wow.
What an entrance.
Hey, I'm Mike Burnett. I'm the executive director and apparently a plus at the Contra Valley Community Action Agency. In community action, we talk a lot about embodying the spirit of hope and helping people, and that's what we've seen over the last 7 days. Our community has been in action. We are giving hope to people who thought they had lost hope when their homes were flooded, and we are helping a lot of people. As Cameron said, from that first call on Friday morning, within 5 hours, we had services and assistance stood up at Paul Land Baptist Church, and a huge shout out to them for them opening their building for this past 7 days, allowing thousands of people to come through and offer that assistance. They've been great partners in this. At the Paul Land Church, we've been able to give hot food, shelf-stable food, diapers, clothes, offer services, housing vouchers, financial assistance, different groups helping fill out the ISTAT, all the different kind of pieces of documentation that's been going on for the last 7 days. At Paul Land, this is as of 8 a.m. this morning, we have seen just shy of 800 households come through Paul Land in 7 days, and that's not representing over 1,900 individuals. And that many folks have been getting that assistance out at Paul Land. In addition, we've placed 140 households into an emergency shelter. We're doing non-congregate shelter at hotels. The emergency shelter at the Salvation Army has been on standby for any kind of overflow or urgent need, but we haven't had to utilize that just yet. And then we have hundreds and hundreds of volunteers that have been coming from Paul Land, from all over the community to help us organize this, sort clothes, sort food. Contra Valley Turning Point and their team have been essential in this. They've opened up their warehouse to help sort donations and things like that. The next step that we are looking at is what is affectionately known as muck and gut. But this is the cleaning out of houses, and this has already been going on. The COAD, our coordinator of this effort, is Stephanie Hamby from Galilee CDC. She is overseeing this. We are taking the ISTAT data, the data from the city, trying to create one specific list of who all needs to be cleaned out. Stephanie is working with that. We have 6 approved teams that we have vetted as a COAD to go out. First is TLC from here in San Angelo, and then 5 national teams, Team Rubicon, Samaritan's Purse, Minutemen Disaster Relief, God's Pit Crew, and Texans on Mission. They are on hand, they are moving in this weekend, and they will help with that clean out effort. We know there are local organizations that are helping doing clean out of their friends and families. We do not want to discourage that. You can keep doing that. All we are asking is that you coordinate with us so that we can check those names off the list and move folk and help to stop so that we don't duplicate services on that. On the utility side, CVCAA has contacted all of our utility providers in the area and made arrangements for them to not disconnect. So folks we've received a lot of calls I'm not in my house. I'm worried about my power being cut off when I get back. I'm not sure if I'll be able to turn it back on. The utility providers have pledged to not do that. You need to contact your provider yourself and say, I'm in the affected area in San-Angelo or Tom Green County, and then they will make arrangements with you to keep that power on. The Red Cross has been here on hand as well. They're going to be providing ongoing case management for folks moving out of the shelters back into some kind of permanent housing. And then starting this weekend, you will also see representatives from the Hidalgo County Community Action here. That is my counterpart down in the valley. They are sending staff in their mobile unit. It'll say Hidalgo County on the side, but if you see the Huggy Heart on it, you know that it's going to be a place you can get help, and that will be deployed in the community as well, doing similar services. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt Lewis with the San Angelo Area Foundation to talk about the process of donations, financial donations, and distributions. Don't fall down to this spot right there.
She's got 2 eyes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Matt Lewis, I'm the president and CEO of the San Angelo Area Foundation. And, Cameron and Mike have done a great job chairing the COAD, the volunteers behind the scene, the organizations and charities working with the city. And I've heard from officials, state officials, several times that, wow, we're really doing a great job here in San Angelo. But as Tom said, let's stop patting ourselves on the back. We got a lot of work to do because we got to pull this thing all the way through. So the Area Foundation is serving as the fiduciary of part of the COAD. The COAD is helping manage volunteers, helping manage people who want to bring goods, services, volunteers to the table to help muck and gut. But then what we really need is money, because you can convert money into a response that maybe wasn't donated, whether that be labor or whether that be materials, and that as money comes in, that's going to help us. Whenever the disaster struck on July the 4th, the call I got at 10 o'clock that morning was, we've got a disaster, we've got to be able to set up the fund that can take charitable dollars that are donated without any restriction that says, I want to help support the disaster fund. I want to help take care of my neighbors. And we had that operating that morning, and the first donation hit at noon on July the 4th. And donations have been rolling in. We've received 800 donations in the last 7 days to the Disaster Relief Fund. On Monday morning, we had an emergency board meeting at the Area Foundation and talked with the board of directors of the Health Foundation, and both foundations committed $250,000 each to the disaster response as the both foundations' investment into our community. So it was great. We were starting off Monday morning with $500,000. I'm excited to say it's been a week. We're sitting over $1 million in the Disaster Relief Fund as of right now. Now that may sound like a lot of money, and that may sound great. On the first Tuesday in May, our community raised $4 million in 24 hours for a lot of nonprofits called San-Angelo Gives. So I know we can raise more money than just $1 million. So let's look at it just $1 million. We're going to raise more money because our neighbors who have been impacted by this flood need our help. If you took $1 million and divided it by 1,000 households, that would be $1,000 a household. Now, I don't know about you, but you're probably not going to get to do much muck and gut and re-sheet rock and put in new flooring with $1,000. So we realize there's going to be other assistance, there's going to be charitable work, and we're going to work with charities to help restore people. But I want to encourage people that we need to do our part and pay for it to skip going, get that extra coffee, and perhaps this is your opportunity to give. You can give online just by going to the San Angelo Area Foundation, and on the front page it says learn more about the flood and donate here. And we actually have an intake page in case you need to apply for assistance, because part of getting the money in is going to be getting the money back out. And so we're working with our COAD partners to coming up with a mechanism and a communication way that we can get back quickly to those that have done we've been telling everybody to fill the intake. Well, here's the payoff. We're going to be able to get some folks some emergency grants back in their hands and to support them in their efforts of recovering from this flood. So thank you, and I am turning it back over to Cameron.
Thank you, Matt. So I'm going to say one thing. We just had some information come through, and then I'll talk a little bit about what the next week is going to look like. Those emergency grants have not started yet. So if you are being told that you can receive those grants right now and you can go to call in, that is not true. So please bear with us. There will be information coming out either through San Angelo Area Foundation, the city, and the COAD, which is using United Way of Contra Valley's Facebook page right now. So let me say that again. There are no grants going out right now. It is coming though. So for our long-term recovery plan we're working on, it's been interesting. Not only have we needed to meet the basic needs right now, we are working on how do we work on this long-term plan. And so another statement that has really been in my mind through the last 2 years is it's not a race, it's a marathon. And so we are looking at what this process is going to look like. And so please bear with us. Things are changing rapidly. Like I said, every second, every hour, I feel like something new is coming up, and we're finding a new need and needing to fill that. And so our new Disaster Resource Center, as we heard earlier, is going to be at the CVT, or the Contra Valley Transit Annex. That will start on Monday from 12 to 6, and that will go Monday through Friday of next week. We will update those hours as we see the need, but next week it will for sure be 12 to 6. Pauline Baptist will be closed as of today at 6 o'clock, but we will be moving those operations to Contra Valley Transit. Those services at Contra Valley Transit next week will be intake services for programs that are local here in San Angelo and those assistance agencies. And so we are working up on a list of agencies that are going to be willing to come out and serve those individuals that have been affected by this flooding. So the next, since Pauline was so gracious to let us be there, we're having to split some of our services up. So not only will we have those available at Contra Valley Transit, we will have essential household items at our Contra Valley Turning Point warehouse. And so where donations have been coming in, now that will become a distribution center for our individuals and it will be available for our survivors. So those will have essential household items, hygiene, clothing, non-perishable items will be available there starting from 12 to 6 on Monday through Friday. The Contra Valley Regional Food Bank will be able to also distribute some perishable items, fruit, vegetables, meat, and non-perishable items as well, if that is one of your only needs. And then the San Angelo Food Bank for tomorrow, if you didn't know, is doing a food distribution at SAISD Stadium from, I think it's 11 to 1. 10 to 1, I apologize. I needed to get an update over there. It's 10 to 1 tomorrow. So for our families that have been affected, that is going to be a great opportunity to receive food for the weekend. Our website and social media of United Way of Contra Valley and the City of San Angelo are going to be the places that we encourage you to find all information and updates about services for our survivors, volunteer opportunities, and donations. And so we are working through all that. As everyone has said, it has been a week, and so just please bear with us. This is going to be a process, so there will be many volunteer opportunities that are going to come up, and so we are working through those. And we have lots of names, and we're ready to put you to work, but we want to make sure that we find the right places to put you, there will be opportunities, I promise. The next one is donations. We have our physical donations as in essential household items in hygiene and clothing. We will be starting to accept those again on Monday. We will release a very specific list of our needs and the location that those will be dropped off at on Monday. And so when that comes out, we would love to continue to start taking those essential donations. But right now we do have that stock still. So please do not take any more over to the Contra Valley Turning Point location. We have lots. But that is my update. If and when we have additional information, like I said, those will be on the United Way of the Contra Valley Facebook page, the City of San Angelo Facebook page, and then our websites as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Chief Griffith, and he has a lovely update, I'm sure, as well.
Thank you so much, Cameron. I just want to say real quick to the media and appreciate y'all guys being here, sharing information, helps us get it out to the public. So thank you to the public that's sharing social media. That is super important information that we're getting out there, and we're trying to keep this all as succinct as possible so that information is in one location. Yesterday, I spent most of the day with my team working on surveying the affected areas. Not so much for a response to the disaster, but it is to what we need to bring our map down to a more restricted area that we've been talking about. We're wanting to make those smaller. That's a pretty big task, and why we started with such a large area, because we wanted to give protection to the individuals that need it. And so later this afternoon, we'll be releasing a newer map that is going to have particular areas of major concern, which is what we're looking at everything from already starting to clean up, and they have a large amount of stuff on the property that's exposed, whether that be through damage to fences, and we're keeping those in when they're all in one area, we're trying to keep that make sure we're on the same page, keeping everybody in that one area protected and restricting access. If you are a home owner, resident of any type, you'll be able to come and go as you need to, and you'll be able to have the delivery service you need. But we want to make sure that any type of restrictions we put on our citizens, we make sure that we're doing it for the right reasons. And so, talking with the mayor, working through just with city staff, we're looking at trying to make these much smaller sections. Will not one be one overarching area, and we were hoping to get that map done by today, but it's just not quite done. We want to make sure that this is the final draft we do until we start really chopping away and freeing those areas up. With that, crime update has been low. We still have complaints of people theft and damage to property, people opening up packages and stuff of trash that have already been set to the side and causing more cleanup issues for them, taking stuff that was not meant to be trash. That's the kind of stuff we've been dealing with. I want to say thank you to the Texas Department of Public Safety. We have multiple troopers here off of the STAR request. We have the Tom County Sheriff's Department, our city marshals, our fire marshal's office, and to the officers of the San Angelo Police Department who are working overtime in those areas. With that, we generally have, in this over-affected area, we will continue to patrol. I want to make that clear. Even when this gets brought down, we continue to have 4 or 5 officers in those areas that are specifically duty just for that area. Not to answer calls for service, but to patrol it, check in, and work on anything related to disaster. The next thing is you'll see different colors through that whole affected area. Pink is going to be the area that we're looking for, and we'll also be releasing another video and another map to explain exactly what that is. But the pink area is going to be restricted areas, and we want to make sure that those areas are extra protected from people coming and going and taking people's belongings. With that, I'm going to turn it back over for questions with the mayor and with the county judge. And while I was here at the podium, I would be remiss without saying Shane Hilton and the operations side of the city, those guys have worked tirelessly throughout this entire process. A lot of people come up because they see us on the front lines, whether it be firemen, police officers, ambulance crews or whatnot. We have some awesome crews here from El Paso helping, and a lot of people saying thank you. But the people that have really been making sure that we're out there able to do our job is those that are working every day, Parks Department, Street and Bridge, everybody that's on the operations side of the city is able to help us do our job. And without them, we wouldn't be able to do that. So thank you to them.
Before we open up into questions, one more update from the county side. We're working with an individual company that I was just made aware of, with Mr. Matt Lewis. They are going to come out and help out with the county side cleanup. So we'll be working with that as Commissioner's Court and getting the information out there for if you are an individual that needs the trash pickup. We will be hoping to take care of that for you. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions. If you have any, Ms. Coffey.
I have a few. These are from some of the folks that we helped with the ISTAT. Will this current help interfere with their current benefits, like if they're on disability or something like that?
No, ISTAT or any of the documentation will not interfere with current benefits.
Okay. Does voluntary help on the cleanup, would that hurt their chances of getting a larger portion of money, but monetary help, if it's already cleaned up?
No, the question was if the volunteer efforts to clean up is going to hurt their benefits as well for the voluntary reimbursements, no, that will not hurt us any.
Okay. Do we still need volunteers to assist in filling out those FEMA requests like we did ISTAT?
What's our current number of volunteers at this moment? Do we still need, the question was, do we still need volunteers? For FEMA or ISTAT?
No.
That's the
similar to
FEMA
ISTAT,
application or the
FEMA.
ISTAT documentation?
Right, the FEMA information, do we still need volunteers like we did with ISTAT?
Yes.
To go to those homes
Yes.
affected?
Yes,
That would help.
anybody that is willing to help volunteer will be greatly beneficial. Yeah.
I do want to, and that's a great question, ma'am. I do not foresee us sending volunteers out into the field for FEMA documentation purposes. We want them to come to us, to our disaster resource center, because at that one center, that's where all these services are going to live and breathe for the next month or so. And so by bringing them into San Angelo, they can fill that paperwork out. And if there's any transportation issues, I'm sure that we can fill that locally to make sure that survivor can get to that disaster resource center.
I know that this is, every individual circumstance is different, funding levels, but of course, one of the big questions now is what is maybe the minimum or so that they may receive from FEMA, and when would that come?
That's an excellent question. That's to be determined by FEMA. Unfortunately, we have not received any information at the local level, but at the speed that this is moving along, I project it to be soon. And I want to thank our local leaders like the judge and the mayor for helping push that along at the state and federal level. Getting a declaration this quick is pretty unheard of with the number of those affected, so we appreciate that. But as more information comes along, we'll be able to share that with the community on our website. And once FEMA arrives in San Angelo to help people with casework, we're going to let everyone know so that everyone can ask FEMA directly in person, hey, what am I eligible for? What opportunities are opened up right now? For the folks that own businesses that were affected, I do know that the Small Business Administration here on North Travel would be able to help those that have business-related reimbursement questions.
So we're kind of in a holding pattern until FEMA gets here, like everybody trying to catch their breath, and then we're.
Yes, ma'am. We've established a site. I will be meeting with some FEMA folks tomorrow, and they're hoping to open up that DRC with FEMA personnel very soon.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
More questions? Any other questions? Are we good? All right, with that, we'll look for potentially doing another press release next week, and when we set that time, we'll push it out, let y'all know. Thank y'all for coming.